This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hi, I'm Alise Morales.
And I'm Millie Tamarez.
And this is
Go Touch Grass,
the podcast where we log in
so you can log off.
Millie and I are two chronically online comedians, and on this pod, we break down the week in internet discourse, viral memes, TikTok trends, and niche influencer drama so that you can go do literally anything else with your time.
And if you like what you hear today and want to hear more, we got to Go Touch Grass Patreon with tons more content weekly, access to our Discord community, and our spin-off series, Search History, where we go back and break down a viral discourse from the past. We took a week off because of travel.
Yes.
Because Alise is nice and tan. But when we come back, our Patreon is going to be about how gingers are now considered black people on TikTok. If you don't know what that means, if you don't know what we're talking about, listen to the Patreon because it is a heartwarming, all-accepting, beautiful thing that's happening.
And the
there.
most recent episode is still our breakdown of the origins of the word kaya, which I think is, an important thing to know in this world. We love your reviews. We need more of them, but the best review that you can give us is to tell your friends about the show. Tag us in a story. Let the world know about Go Touch Grass. We will repost it. We are always online.
And don't forget to finally subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a full video episode every Saturday.
We do.
What does that mean? That means that Millie's going out on Friday night, coming home and editing it.
It does.
Millie came home high and drunk from the Liberty game. Support your local WNBA teams. But guess what she did? She fucking edited the podcast, so it's out on Saturday.
Sometimes I see the upload time on the video and I say, when did Millie do this?
Exactly.
I've been watching her story. I know she's been out. When did she do this?
Exactly. So please engage with our YouTube. And speaking of engagement, our guest.
I did just get engaged.
I was like, am I missing something?
No, that was a bad segue. Sorry, guys.
No, you're doing your best.
Thank you. Today, we have a wonderful guest in studio. He's a comedian whose debut special, Surprise Me, is out now on YouTube. He's an author for whose book, Is It Hot in Here or Am I Suffering for All Eternity for the Sins I Committed on Earth, is available where most books are sold. And most importantly, he's a friend of the pod. I would say resident of Grass Nation.
Yeah.
Definitely visitor. It's Zach Zimmerman.
Wow.
Oh my God. Thank you
so
both for having
excited to have you.
Yeah.
I want to tell you about a podcast I was told to tell my friends about.
Okay.
It's called Go Touch Grass.
Oh, wow.
I just subscribed to the Patreon.
Amazing.
Wow.
That's exactly how the conversation could go between you and your loved ones.
We're giving you a script. All you have to do is call 100 people. It's like you're canvassing, like, hey, have you heard? Are you planning to listen to Go Touch Grass?
Oh, if only.
Put a pin in canvassing because that circles back.
I'm thinking like if only we could get our hands on like the email list that all of these spammy campaigns get, I just send 100 texts that are like, stop! Listen, Go Touch Grass needs $100 today.
I mean, yes.
I do want to applaud you. I don't know. Oh, wow. Just had a small. I don't know if people.
The Celsius is working too hard.
The Celsius is working.
The Arctic Vibe. What flavor is that?
We're doing Arctic Vibe. I'm usually fizz free, but they're very hard to get the fizz free.
No, you can't get fizz free.
This is the new
Arctic
gay
Vibe?
cold brew. It's kind of blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just blue.
All right,
Okay.
I want to applaud you though for your tea.
Thank you.
I was able to be there at their New York tea Patreon exclusive launch party.
It was
there
so
was drag.
beautiful.
We wrote things. I had a blast. And
Did you complain about?
What did I complain about?
What did you write? Did you write something?
Oh, we were supposed to write something down that was upsetting us.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wrote down women, and then I threw it away. But I wrote PBS getting their funding. I had to be earnest.
Yes.
You're the 8th person who wrote
Many
it.
Oh,
people
really?
wrote that. Yes, and you know what? Thank you, because events and event planning will tie into today's discourse.
Wow.
When we get there, we have
Yes.
more questions for you. But when we get there, I want everyone to remember that Millie and I actually just executed a flawlessly beautiful event
I was blown away.
that delivered on all of its promises.
But it was hard.
It was hard.
Oh,
And
I
that's
can't
the
imagine.
That's the part that people don't remember, but
easy for the guests.
easy
Yeah.
for the guests.
That's true. Like as a host, you did all the work, so all I had to do truly was show up, and
Great.
it was delicious.
That's so beautiful to
That's
hear.
so nice. And that's why we booked Zach.
And that's why we said we have to get him on to say that he went to the tea party and it was really good.
Yes. Zach, let's get to the questions. Look, you have a new special on YouTube that's called Surprise Me. You have a fucking amazing book. But I want to talk to you about how you got roasted on the internet and all that stuff. So people who are listening, maybe they don't recognize you from the viral moment on Twitter.
I can fill them in, and then I plan to roast you back.
Okay.
If that's allowed.
It is allowed.
But for those unaware, I posted something on Twitter about a month ago. A guy I met on Hinge, I was going on a date with him, and he asked what I was going to wear, and I sent a little video like, get ready with me for our date, of what I was going to wear. And then 7 seconds later, he was like, I don't think we're compatible. Cancels on the date. So I put it online thinking like, oh, this will be like funny. People can laugh along. No, internet sides with him. They're like, what the frick was this fit? They called me like school picture day. And then it gets picked up by websites that I didn't know existed anymore, like Daily Dot. And it's like, this hideous comedian gets rejected for awful outfit. And I'm like, okay, that's my internet legacy.
The way you'll find out Elite Daily still exists by going viral in like a negative way. And you're like, what the fuck?
But of the ways to get canceled, For My Fit is one of the top ones, I think.
Yeah.
And I feel like the sad thing is, separately the pieces could have worked, but together it was the problem.
So that's what I'm finding. Because someone last year, Jay Jordan, told me high socks were in, so I'm wearing high socks all the time. But I went clothes shopping with Millie a year ago, and I'm being lied to about what I have. I brought it. She made me buy an outfit that I have.
Oh my God,
you brought it.
She takes me to a thrift store.
Okay.
And we buy a jean jacket that is XXXL Rockaware.
What is everyone wearing now?
Not this.
People,
Millie.
No, you couldn't make it work. You can't make that work.
And this is why you guys have to subscribe to the YouTube. Zach is putting on the jacket. This is not the jacket for Zach.
Swimming. What when does this ever work?
It's like but the thing is,
it's a dress.
No, Zach, you're not seeing
I
the
wear
vision.
it. I wore it that night, and someone ran into me. A friend took a picture of me, sends it to her husband, and says, "Aren't you glad I dress you?"
No.
This is what happened.
Okay.
I do think
Alise.
the jacket is too big on Zach.
No.
See,
no.
They talk about the black wife effect. This is
That's
the black.
what I was trying to do.
This is black ex-wife. She
No,
has
but
revenge against me.
You wear an oversized thing with a really cropped whatever or a tighter thing. That's like you high-low it. You wear, like, I'm showing a lot of my chest, shoulder area. I'm gonna not show the legs. Like, it's like whatever. So you're wearing this oversized thing and you wear it with like a tie or like shorter shorts or whatever. Like, you gotta off balance.
So this kind of works then. I've got short shorts and the big jean jacket.
I mean,
right
it's
now.
not even that short, but yeah, I feel like it's not. The jacket is not it looks
I don't
good.
know. I can't. Don't go shopping with Dominican women is the conclusion. You will be, because she was hyping me up in the thrift store, and someone else like, you look great, and then I get out in public.
How many people were telling me you look great?
In the before I bought, everyone. It was like I was getting scammed and conned.
It was okay, but it was this white guy who literally looked like he got black girlfriend affected. He had a buzz cut with a big diamond earring. And he was like, yo, and he wore like an unironic like Dickie suit that had his like name on it, like Bob or something. No.
Why is there a candy bar in here?
Okay, Zach just pulled out a candy bar from the
Oh my God, it
jacket.
expired in 2021.
No.
Wait, what country is it from?
Jumbo Manny, chocolate con leche con Manny.
Do you think you
Colombia?
bought this?
Money.
Oh my God.
It's because I knew it. It's Manny is Mani, which is peanut. So it's chocolate covered peanuts.
I'm a drug mule for chocolate now. This has been snuck across the border.
Do you think that was your bar, or do you think it was just in the jacket?
This was in the jacket.
It's been in the jacket.
This was not I know I brought a prop.
Okay.
I did not know this was in here. Now
Here's
I'm
what
curious.
I will say is it is a very cool jacket. I think that Zach would have to have a lot of other different style elements coming together for the jacket
That's
to
a
work.
checklist way to say you look terrible.
No. I concede that maybe it was too big of a swing for Zach and he wasn't ready. We should have started smaller. I would have readjusted my strategy. I thought we were leaning all the way in.
No.
We were in a Bushwick thrift store.
I want to dip a toe in.
Yeah, you were trying to do a little bit. You were trying to do incremental change, and I wanted a revolution. Put a pin in that. I wanted a revolution, and I think it was an incremental change. And guess what? You're doing that with the shirt you're wearing, which is like, it's a classic cut shirt, but with little funky elements to it. So I feel like you are marrying.
I thought I looked cool. Someone on the train called me a Barney-looking motherfucker, so I'm not sure if. Not sure how long that's going to last.
mean, some Mexican guy, and he was complimenting me. I was wearing this dress, which is gingham, which is in right now, and and a cute little pink sweater.
This covers the couch, Millie. This is a blanket.
If you don't see it, you don't see it. I'm not going to fight for my artistic view. You're just not ready, and that's not my problem.
Oh, it's on me. Oh, okay.
I need I'll wear the fuck out of that.
I think I need to grow a foot and gain 100 pounds to pull this off.
No, you just need to not wear it with anything. You need to wear it like that and just shorts.
Winnie the Pooh it, where it's all jacket.
I mean, there's a world. Anyway, Alise has a question for you. We have to move on.
No.
We have to move on. Wait, but you do have to finish saying what the Mexican guy said about your outfit.
Oh, this Mexican guy, I was wearing this dress, and then I was wearing that baby pink sweater, and he was like, wow, like, you're wearing like something my grandma would wear and like a baby. Like he's like, you're dressed, and I'm like, oh, so awesome. I'm just like a baby and a grandma, and he's like, yeah. And then I'm like, cool. And then he was like kind of
hitting on you? Yeah.
Yeah, but then he just wanted to say conversation. Then he was just like, then he started talking about his immigration story and how fucking pissed he was mad at Donald Trump. And he's like, I came to America 7 times. I crossed the border. I have my little ways. And I came all the way from Mexico straight here. And every time I leave, and I'm like, yo, this guy's fucking badass. Maybe I do look like a grandma.
That's more grandma. I don't think he would talk to a baby that way. Like,
well,
hello, can I tell you my story?
Well, and there you go. I'm roasted now.
I do feel like today's style, though, like, is a little bit of a grandma plus baby. I think that, when I think about what the girls are wearing out, there are elements of grandma and there are elements of baby.
There's the femme is grandma baby. Yeah. And the kind of mask androgynous is Malcolm in the Middle bully.
Yes.
Like a bully and that jacket is very much giving Malcolm in the Middle bully. All the girls are wearing big pants. Everyone's wearing big pants, oversized pants. So, and like a little tidy shirt.
Yeah.
I'm 6'4". I've been wearing big pants since the day I was born.
But big on you. Even.
I can't do those.
So then
I've been lied to. My whole life. The things that I was mocked for in middle school, being gay, wearing pants that come up too high, are now in.
And now look at you trying to be bi.
And they change.
No, you're bi. You're bi.
And they change. Fashion changes too fast. Also, I think it's a part of a con.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
No,
don't be sorry.
Back to the grass.
We have to put a pin.
What's the premise of the show? Are we getting
Back
high?
To the grass.
I thought we were getting high.
Today,
we have Lumi is our sponsor.
Lumi gummies.
And they send us quite a lot.
Wait, do I get some?
If you want, you can come over to my house. I will give you some.
Oh my God.
We can cut this. They sent me 6 bottles of gummies. So.
Don't cut that.
Yeah.
But
I need 1 milligram. Do they have those? Do you know the Christmas Carol with Mickey Mouse? And he's like cutting a pea in half. That's me with my gummies. Okay. I'm like, how do we get the tiniest little that I can handle?
Well, Lumi gummies are a very smooth high, and you won't feel groggy
and
afterwards.
And they're only 5 milligrams, so that's basically.
Oh yeah, I can do a little nib.
Yeah,
you
do. Yeah, you do a little fork and knife and just nibble on it. Okay, I do have to ask you one more question, and then we're getting into our discourse. This is an easy question. This is a follow-up on our 100 men versus 1 gorilla question.
Ooh, yep.
I think we're gonna pretty much be in agreement and knock this out immediately. But the internet has been asking, who could win in a fight? 100 British people or 100 Americans? And I think we all know the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Is
we
100
did this already.
Americans.
We
Yeah.
did this already. The Revolutionary
Oh, I thought you were
War.
like saying that we've done this on the podcast. I was like, am
No.
I having a stroke?
No. We've
Brits
done this in
Brits
history.
are so polite. They're
Yeah.
too polite. I can't
No.
see them battling. They'll be like, "Oh, so sorry. You
whole-
killed me. I'm so sorry."
The whole point of America is that we're violent psychopaths.
Oh, yeah.
Is
No,
that we're
for
no
real.
We would have
holds-barred
100
violent
AK-47s, and they would have 100 knives.
I'm
like,
just saying, even a fist-to-fist hand combat, we're still winning.
Yeah.
One time when I was in England, I went to this bowling alley / nightclub. Don't know what they're doing over there. Made out with a Scottish Egyptian guy. Don't know what I was doing there. Definitely got COVID. No. I didn't get COVID from that guy. I got COVID from the Italian guys. Let me tell you, Millie does well in London. Anyway,
Ooh.
okay. There was this guy who disrespected the bouncers, and the bouncers were like going like back and forth verbally with him for like 25 minutes. And they were like back and forth chatting, and then he brought his friends, and the bouncer brought his bouncer friends, and they were all like in spat. And then I'm just like, I went to go get a drink. I came back, they're still arguing, and I'm like, yo, if this was the US, a bouncer would have punched that guy in the throat immediately. And like Jazzy Jeff, like I've seen them heave ho a guy out of a club like immediately.
Absolutely. A bouncer in the United States, you are lucky if you have like 2 sentences of disrespect before they straight up cold cock you. Like just one punch straight to the middle of the head.
I've been walking by bars in pubs in the UK before, and there is more of a like kind of we're all slowly getting drunk together and we'll be gentle because they only do beer mostly. US we're like cocktails, I'm gone, you need to be thrown out immediately. They're kind of like a softer.
You know what the bouncers did? And I would say that's not a critique. It's not good to be violent.
No,
but you know what?
It's caused us a lot of
we're really American.
Horrible
Yeah,
pain
the red
and
pill
problems.
jumped out of both of you. We would win in a fight.
We're winning a fight,
would.
yes, but also it might not be great. Because a bouncer, let me tell you, bouncer in England said last call, he walked around with plastic cups, poured everyone's beer in a plastic cup, sent us on our way to the next destination. I'm like, we could never, but you want to fight us?
Winning the fight isn't actually winning. It means your culture is violent.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is it's like
the winner's the loser.
It's a very funny question because it was popping around online. Absolutely, I have not seen one truly in earnest person arguing for the British. There's the odd comment every once in a while, and they'll be like, "Hey, you've never met a Brixton lad," and I'm like, one teenager from Mississippi would kill them all. Would absolutely just rock every single person that's in your mind. I saw people were saying, they were like, we don't need a big sentiment was like, you don't even need 100 Americans. You just have to pick the right Americans. They said one Waffle House night shift could probably do it.
That's more interesting. Though we each get to pick one representative, and they go
From
into
the
a
district.
Coliseum. Yeah,
because one from Florida.
Yes.
Coliseum.
They said 4 girls from the Bronx could do it.
Oh, yeah. 4 girls from the Bronx could do it, for sure.
For Kira Sullivan, who's a very funny TikToker, she was talking about basically like her draft of just like, bar none in the US, we have so many different types of fighters.
Yeah.
You know, like we have people from the South who were involved in the Montgomery Brawl fighting. And then we have like people from the Pacific Northwest. We have different, and then we've got fucking drunk guys in Boston. Like we just have a proliferance of fighting styles as well. That
it
are
is
available
wild
to us.
how nationalistic I feel in this moment when we're
moment,
being compared to that. Because I was like, yeah, we are especially violent in a unique number of ways.
Yeah, no, for real. Yeah.
Maybe all we need is like to be attacked by the British people for us to like come together as a nation once again.
I mean, you mean war to bring us together as a nation? I'm sure several U.S. presidents had that same exact
against Britain
thought.
specifically.
Yes, against Britain. Well, Britain, yeah.
Britain.
Britain.
I think that's all you have to do with 100. Just start mocking the 100 British people.
Say water bottle.
Oh, yeah,
say
love.
it.
You want a crumpet? Britain pudding?
Oh my God.
I'm going to get a lot of messages for my British.
Okay, well, listen, we agreed with what the internet said. We've solved it. 100 Americans are obviously going to destroy 100 British people in ways that are very disturbing.
Okay, what I will say is, I don't know if you've caught it. There's nowhere else to put this on the podcast, but this is a thing that happened. That Andrew Tate was fighting his like best fans. Like he would let them like get
Fight
in a
him?
ring, like fight him for
Okay.
3 minutes, and he'd basically beat the shit out of these guys for 3 minutes,
Awesome.
and then
Just
get another
one-on-one?
one Andrew Tate versus 60 Red Pill fans.
This is like the mask evil version of, is her name Bonnie? The woman who slept
Oh
with
yeah,
like
the girl who
100 or
fucks
1,000
guys.
guys.
That's what people are saying is that.
What is our version? What do we do against 100 or 1,000 people?
I mean,
What
I would say,
do?
go touch grass versus 100 people subscribing to our YouTube.
Yeah.
Let's see
Battle
who
to
we
the
win
death.
challenge.
Wow.
I would love if 1,000 people subscribe to our YouTube.
I think they
Right
are.
now.
I'm manifesting it.
Thank you.
Because then you can become partner, which I just became.
Wow.
Yes, that's what we're manifesting.
I made
Okay.
$100 on my special.
This-
Thank you, internet.
You made $100 on your special.
Wow.
Yeah, fuck
it
Netflix.
costs so much money.
All right. Well, listen, this actually goes right into our discourse, okay? Because we are not only talking about a situation where people could pay $100 to supposedly get extra stuff or
Yeah.
whatever. And we're not just talking about 100 people. We are talking about 1 million lives.
Oh no, is this serious? Do I need to get
No,
serious?
it's actually
I feel like
one of the
I feel like
least-
once it's 1 million lives, something bad is happening.
It's actually one of the least serious things we could talk about
Oh,
because
no,
today's
not
discourse-
genocide, you guys. A million lives.
Well, that's later.
That's later,
Oh.
actually. I looked ahead in the
yeah,
doc.
that is later.
Oh.
That is later.
What we're talking about now actually could not be less important.
Yeah,
I mean, it's important to the people that were involved, but like the stakes are very low.
which
Okay.
we love.
And it actually
low
combines
stakes.
two things that we talk about often on this podcast.
Men and sex.
What? No.
It
No, we
could.
don't.
But no, this is one of my favorite sources of online mess. These are two of my favorite sources of online mess combined. Failed viral events
Yeah.
and BookTok.
Oh no! Was there a Fyre festival but for romantasy?
Wow.
Zach, that's quite literally
What happened?
exactly what I am about to
I need to
describe.
touch grass that I
You-
knew both
The
those
fact
things.
that you were able to guess just based off the clues does show how online you are, and it's amazing. Today we are talking about the A Million Lives Book Festival in Baltimore, which is being called the Fyre Festival of Book Talk, and it was for romantasy books.
Wow. What happened? I haven't heard of it. I'm not in
Wow.
this scene.
Perfect
Okay.
guest. Perfect
Literally,
guest.
Wow.
Jay
Zach,
Jordan
Zach,
really
perfect.
coached you well.
Yeah,
I got a little
this-
pep talk from my friend before this.
This is incredible. So, what was A Million Lives? You asked the perfect question. This was supposed to be a book festival. It took place on May 2nd and 3rd. So, as we were putting on our flawless tea party,
And million smiles.
a million, and we were gifting 1 million smiles to
Guys,
like
my eye
35
is still
people.
twitching. My eye is still twitching.
The best.
As we were doing that in Baltimore, this is what was
Just
happening.
4 hours away.
Just 4 hours away, the Fyre Festival of Books was taking place. So this festival, supposedly.
I thought there was a video. I'm reaching for the
We're-
headphones.
soon there.
Oh, there will be a
There
video.
will be.
Okay.
It started being planned over a year ago, and it promised a wide range of events, like a vendor hall, panels, a content creation room, different cosplay meetups, a cosplay competition, and a ball. They were really like going heavy on the
And
ball.
I feel like those are pretty like tangible, easy things to
yes.
execute.
To plan a ball, what could it possibly take?
Well,
Music, booze, and looks.
And when
Yeah.
I tell you, none of
None of
those
those-
things are going to be provided in this event.
a ball is tough because you need to have the decor, right? You need
Yes.
to really set.
Was this in a conference center? Because
It
I
is in
did
a
see
conference
one
center.
video that was sort of like one lady in a ball gown walking into an empty conference
That's
center.
absolutely
oh,
of this.
No.
So, Zach, it has come across your FYP because that's exactly what this is. So we've talked before on the podcast. The two big failed events that we've talked about are the Bridgerton Ball in Detroit.
Mhm.
and
and
the tea
Glasgow
party
Willy
you guys
Wonka.
threw a week ago.
Fuck off.
No, it was a
Fuck off.
success.
No,
It was a great success.
and there was like that Winter Wonderland in DC. That was a minor character. Remember?
yes.
Where the hashtag DC influencers.
Well, yeah, that was dark. And then Glasgow Willy Wonka, I think, is probably the
Yep,
most
yep.
famous.
Yeah,
the
Glasgow
most
Willy
viral.
Wonka Bridgerton Ball.
And
Our-
Firefest tried to do a reboot like this month.
Yeah,
and
Fyre
they
Fest is trying
canceled
to come
that.
back. Yes.
Made it like now it's a music brand or something.
Yeah, Fyre Fest is actually still doing Fyre Fests all the time, like in its own way.
Events are hard because the success is actually a large part of the percentage. Like an orgy. If I'm throwing an orgy, it kind of depends on who's coming.
Yeah,
You're kind of
that is
paying
true.
for who else is going to be there.
So that's actually a huge, again,
people
Zach, you're
pay
saying
for
all the right
orgies?
things.
What'd you say?
I don't think people pay for orgies, do they?
Oh, we're in different communities.
Earlier,
Earlier,
I've been invited to orgies. And
I was like,
like,
oh, have you guys seen when Jonathan Groff like sang on the Tonight Show into Jimmy Fallon's microphone for his kids? And Millie's like, we're not gay. We haven't seen that. We're not
it
gay.
is something that might come across my desk, perhaps. but okay. But like this line of thought about how hard events are to put on and what's expected at events, this is actually what we're going to be talking about today. Because basically a lot is being promised, but it's also pretty standard stuff for these book festivals.
Yeah.
They're not promising the most elaborate, crazy stuff.
And book events, like if 5 people show up, that's success. Like getting people to come to a reading or kind of sitting down, listening to people talk. People are the people who buy books, who I love and am one of, sit alone at home most of their lives. And so to get them to go out and buy a ticket is a big swing already.
Well, and that's kind of the point. That what this event was being advertised as was that it was going to be this huge book fair. All these authors were going to come. They're going to set up tables. You're going to be able to buy from these authors directly, meet these authors,
and then sign it.
They're going to sign it. Also, there will be cosplay stuff. There will be panels.
Cosplay competition, battle to the death, I heard. I was promised
100 Americans are going to fight 100 British people.
Bridgerton versus, what's the American equivalent? God damn it.
Bridgerton versus Fourth Wing or something.
No, not Lady Bird. Little Women.
Lady Bird.
Bridgerton versus Little Women.
100 Greta Gerwigs
versus the Bridgerton girls. I don't know. I actually feel like
Greta Gerwig versus Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Wow, just a one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, and guess what? Greta Gerwig will steal your man. So
I know. Did she steal a man?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Noah Baumbach was married.
And Marriage Story is kind
Marriage
of
Story is
about his divorce.
Yeah.
But anyway,
put a pin in Greta Gerwig's romantic history.
Great director, though.
Yeah, I mean, yes. So, okay, back to the ball. So it was all supposed to end in this thing called the Lavender Romance Ball.
Okay.
That's very queer coded, by the way. Lavender
romance, but that's the thing is that a lot of these romantic-y books, there's a sapphic component. I think so. Your book was traditionally published.
It was and sapphic.
Oh, and
it was
sapphic.
Exclusive. It was actually romantic.
Yours, it was so fast sapphickly published.
Traditional, yeah. Independent Chronicle, the biggest like independent publisher left.
So I think that a lot of the people who are coming to this were probably self-publishing. It seems like it might be a mix.
Yeah, probably.
But it's people who like their beat is to try to go to events like this and sell their books.
Yeah.
So they're being promised this huge event that's going to be a whole to-do, and they get excited. People start planning. Again, this was announced like a year out, so people start planning to come. People are traveling from out of state. I saw one lady who was saying, she was coming in from Texas, and you're traveling with your books. You are bringing
display cases.
Where was this at?
Baltimore in a conference room. So with all of that in mind, also one more thing to note. So there were also some people who paid extra to be like a sponsor of the event.
Yeah.
And if you paid extra, then you were supposedly going to get like more shout outs. You were going to get like specialty printouts, like your book cover and your picture would be featured on different stuff. And like, that's also something that's not uncommon for these book fairs, for you to pay a little extra to be included in like more materials and more press releases and stuff like that. So some people were doing that.
But you're saying there were more authors than readers. It was sort of exploiting authors.
I think we'll get to it. I mean, certainly that's how the event pans out, is that it's more authors than readers who show up.
Sounds like an open mic in Brooklyn. Kind of you're just comics performing for each other.
Well, there's one point where the lady was like, I went to a panel and there were more panelists than audience members. And I was like, been there, sweetheart.
Been there.
Welcome.
Been at a show where everyone at the show except for my one friend was performing, and we did have to ask her to do the lights.
hey, everybody's doing their part. You can't just sit back and
her
relax.
boyfriend came, and then he's like, "Where's?" And she was in the tech booth.
Divorce.
Yep.
Well, they're married now, and I officiated.
Kind of
So
the opposite.
So it all worked out.
it all worked
So that
out.
was kind of a
beautiful.
lavender romance ball in its own.
I once invited two friends to a dramatic improv show where we did like a one-act play,
No,
and
Zach.
it was caused some strife in their marriage after that. It was
Wow.
like, why have you brought me to this?
I mean,
No,
yeah, divorce
no.
took me to
Yeah,
So what was
a dramatic
the fallout?
improv
Are people
show.
begging
Okay.
for their money back? And
Absolutely, yes. So first, let's look now at this picture of what the attendees were actually presented, and
oh my
let me know
God.
if this looks
the
like
girl on the left looks terrible.
Zach is looking at a
Millie.
picture.
Of
our logo.
He's obviously
Um,
lying.
No, you
He's
both look
obviously
great.
lying.
So is this giving Lavender Romance Ball
That's
to
the
you?
ball?
That's
This-
the ball.
This looks like something from the world of Dune. The sky is gray. Oh my God.
It's okay.
We're on Arachnus.
We do need to discuss, explain for our listeners. It's literally an empty conference hall with tables. I saw someone online describe it as like, it looks like a place where you're going to take a test.
Listeners, you need to go subscribe to the YouTube and watch this so you can
Yeah.
experience
Yes,
everything.
but we will
live.
also post on our Instagram all of the pictures so that you can look. But for
There's
the
just
listeners,
one lady in the distance who clearly has a very festive blue dress on and was promised something very different. I do like the architecture of the ceiling, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's very like DC blue. I feel like DC.
it looks like the DC Metro.
Yeah, it looks like the DC Metro. It's
Mm.
a very brutalist. What was I gonna say? That's kind of the problem with balls, is that
Tell us the problem
the
with
problem
balls.
with balls
the problem with
is
balls.
that you have to
When you
work-
advertise the balls, they have to be what was
Finish the
promised.
sentence,
No, I want these.
yeah.
Tell us about. And was it
Okay,
warm?
no,
I
it's
bet
like-
it was warm. It was a sweaty, sweaty ball.
Well, oh my God.
How do you handle balls like this? Like when you're throwing the balls to you, how much planning goes into balls?
So,
I'm here to speak on this. Do you shave before a ball
Well,
or shave?
I think it
We need
depends on
to
what
sh-
type of ball.
I think that actually too much was going on here. We need to shave the balls down to a simple.
Well, what I was gonna say before Zach wouldn't shut the fuck up about balls is that you really have to work really hard to make it like the ambiance, like part of like it's like the music, but it's like you need drapery, you need like a lot of stuff to
Yeah.
transform this into something special.
You need that wedding lighting that's like purplish
Yeah.
type of stuff. This is, I cannot stress enough for our listeners, an empty conference hall with a couple of chairs set up in a U. There is not one piece of ambiance, lighting, decor, nothing of any kind. One person who posted online said that she showed her husband. She was like one of the authors, and she was like, look at what the fuck they set up for us. And her husband was like, it looks like a Pokemon tournament.
I was
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
literally. I've been to one in Daytona, and I was like, "This is because even the way
Yeah.
the tables are set up, it's you're battling someone."
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously this.
How old were you when you went to it?
I went as an adult to kind of reconnect with the magic of my youth.
Oh, okay.
A
Wow.
friend I went to college is like a grandmaster.
Oh.
Well,
That's
not
a-
the word I should use.
Yeah,
I'm like,
okay.
Okay.
I just watched Sinners. I'm triggered.
Did you love it?
I did. I
Oh,
did.
it's fan. I'm going again in a week and a half. Do you want to
Yeah.
come with? I got IMAX tickets.
Ooh, actually, I might. Yeah.
I
Okay.
need more daytime friends with I have rich friends who are too busy, and I have poor friends that have no money but
money?
lots of time. So I need to. I think Millie's and I are in the sweet spot.
Okay,
we
well,
got the daytime.
I have a remote job and I haven't seen Sinners at all. So.
So you should take a lease.
I only have 2 tickets.
Oh, okay.
I
You
can't.
should take a
I
lease.
can't.
no,
I
it's-
can't bring a white
it's
girl
fine.
to
You
Sinners.
You can, oh,
We
she's
can't.
Cuban.
I'm Cuban.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
Cuban.
How much?
I'm
How much? Morales' last name.
Me doing the Haley Stanfield, like
Yeah.
my grandfather.
The
Haley
Hilaria
Steinfeld?
Baldwin.
How do you say her
Haley
name? Anyway,
Stanfield. Yeah, no,
Okay.
and she had a little curly bob too.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm
guys.
0.03% Indigenous American.
Don't say that.
Oh,
It's true.
okay.
It's true.
Just go back to talking
Elizabeth
about
Warren.
balls.
We're all-
Get back to the ball
Back
beat.
to balls.
Okay, so let's do. There's one more picture I wanted to show you. So these are like the authors in their ball gowns, and
Oh,
guys,
this
the
is
floor
beautiful.
is concrete. These girls
I
are in ball
know.
gowns gathered, and they are in an empty parking garage.
What?
Look at it. It's so bad.
And I feel like they could have just done like a smaller room. Like they could have taken like one of the smaller conference
Yes.
rooms and transformed it into this ball.
And one step and repeat could have cured all of this internet hate.
Yeah.
One nice step and repeat, a little little floral setup.
Yes. So obviously the authors, they're pissed. It seems like, you know what's fun is like,
Is
because
Satan in the corner? There's like one
I think
guy.
one guy is
with
dressed as kind of like
wings.
a
You
devil.
I bet
That
you
guy-
clean up. I bet
Oh,
a
he's
good
cleaning
straight
up.
guy cleans up.
And you know what?
We think it's a failure. The amount these walls were painted white
Yes.
in the hotel.
That guy got exactly what he wanted out of this
Yeah,
weekend. What, regardless of the decor, whatever. That
He's
guy.
like, I love this shit. The depressed women.
He probably threw it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
a bunch
No.
of depressed women in ball gowns. He's like, I am ready. I'm dressed as I think in
The
a
Dark
dark
Lord?
angel or
Yeah,
something.
no, he's
Yeah.
wearing wings and he has that beard. Like, you know, he just like is obsessed, quote unquote, with eating pussy
Mhm.
in a way that like
Oh,
is
yeah.
kind of misogynist. It's so
It's misogynist.
It's short shoot
It
around to
reduces
be
the
Yeah.
woman
misogynist.
to, oh, interesting.
It's
Yeah.
so like it's so pro woman that
That
it
it-
circles back around and you're like, what are you doing?
I'm
Yeah.
going to the balls to get pussy. That's your episode title. You're welcome.
Wow, the
Um,
balls to get pussy, and we're just
yeah.
immediately taken down by people. Awesome. Okay, so anyway, what's kind of nice is that because it's all this like indie booksellers and self-publishers and romanticy girlies, it seems like they all came together to like try to make the best of what was going on and like had good humor about it. But at the same time, people are pissed because the tables cost anywhere from $50 to $250. So
That's tough.
the $50 tier was called the Page Turner, where you could get access to the vendor hall on Saturday, the cosplay meetups, and the content creation room, which we will discuss the content creation
I'm
room.
scared.
150.
That's the guy's hotel room.
It's just that guy standing in a room.
Yeah, we didn't say what kind of content. We just said content creation.
$150 was the Cloud Walker tier, where you get all that plus the swag bag. Put a pin in the swag bag. And I will say that Millie and I delivered gorgeous swag bags, and there
I
was
still
a
have
whole.
it. Oh,
I'm
so
traumatized. We wanted to embroider it, and the embroider machine could not like handle the material of tote bag. So we had to embroider ribbons.
But we
and
did
tie
that.
them.
We did that.
Michelle Hamada did
Yes.
that. But my best friend Michelle Hamada did. Oh, the person who did the lights at my bro show. She ended up making all the ribbons for her.
It's a team effort.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Michelle is definitely like a sponsor of the podcast in many, many ways. But either way, like what I'm saying is we said goodie bags on our flyers. So I said,
You
come hell
delivered.
or high water.
We
Yep.
have to
Millie,
do
we
it.
have
I
that
left
goodie
with
bags,
the
and Millie
friendship
said,
bracelet. It was
I will.
perfect. I don't know
Yes.
why my instinct was to make my own name though. So I made a friendship bracelet
that
that
says
just
your
says
own
Zach.
name.
Well, it's
Yeah.
good. It's the
Okay.
same instinct as you not
Well,
shutting the fuck up about balls.
Now, $250, that was the Dream Maker tier, where you get all the stuff and a ticket to the Lavender Romance Ball. So
Oh, because the Lavender Romance Ball was separate.
yeah, the Lavender Romance Ball was like a separate
Oh.
event on Saturday night, I think. So like Friday was kind of like supposed to be the VIP day, where a bunch of stuff was supposed to happen, and people who bought either the Cloud Chaser, the Cloud Walker, or the Dream Maker
No,
tickets.
you're
I
right with
also
Cloud
don't
Chaser.
understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why one tier is Page Turner, but then Cloud Walker and Dream Maker are the next tiers. I'm just confused about the naming convention of the tiers, but that's the least of our problems here.
Yeah.
So some people said they were out like $2,000 to $3,000 for
Yeah.
this because
K?
I
All the
believe it.
travel.
Yeah.
they traveled, they got a hotel, they brought a bunch of merchandise.
Yeah.
So it's like, you have to ship. If you're coming from out of town, then you have to like fly with a bunch of books and shit.
As someone who literally, like, because I started selling press-on nails, like, I do some of these markets now, Claws by Carol. And,
Is that the name of it? Claws by Carol?
yeah, it's
Oh, I
me
love
and
it.
Carolina Teresa. So you got to show up. Everyone has these display cases. Like, it's a whole thing. And like people with these bigger conventions, like you spend money because you think you're gonna make it back. Like if you do a big convention like this, you're expecting thousands of people. You can make like easily $10,000, $5,000 in a weekend.
Yes.
So putting down $2,000 is not like the craziest thing, and you're also networking and all this stuff. So I totally believe that even like me setting up like 3 things that takes like a whole day, and you got to pay the fee to do it, and you got to get your food while you're there. It's tough. It's a tough
sounds
thing.
like multi-level marketing sometimes, or it can be like, oh, I have to pay to play.
Yeah, I think that like if it's like this, then it is, and if it's good, then people actually do get the value. Like, I think there are people who do these as their way of selling their books, and a lot of them do sell a lot of books and make money when it's a legit, real event. But because this one was not, people didn't sell a ton of books. And to your point about, you know, if it's a huge event or not, there was a Discord channel for the event with all the event organizers, and we're going to talk about who did this in a second, but they were saying as of January that ticket sales were in the high 400s, that it's aiming to sell out.
Now, lying about ticket sales is never something I'm guilty of. I would never say that.
Tickets going fast.
Limited.
If you see a comedian
only
post tickets going
tickets
fast.
left. It's like
well,
there's
2
1,000
tickets left. I feel like that's fine.
2 tickets left is probably true, but I'm saying if you see a comedian and it's like 2 weeks after the show and they're like, tickets are going fast, they've sold 3.
Yes.
And the tickets are always limited. The rooms have fire codes.
I wouldn't tell I wouldn't tell the other people on the show that we sold out and we didn't.
No.
But I would tell my audience that
exactly.
that we're about to sell out, so that they like. So I would say you can lie a little bit about ticket sales.
Yeah, it's different in the marketing, but she was telling people who were coming to this event, I've sold 400 tickets. By end of April, she said the lady who organized this said that the tickets sales were in the high 500s to low 600s.
That sounds kind of true. And then maybe half show up, and we got
not
a picture
even.
here.
They said the people who attended this event said that there were about 100 authors signed up, and that over the course of the event, they saw maybe 30 people. So
and then it's like, did you even try then? What are you doing?
So that's kind of the weird thing about all of this. So, okay, let me just paint a picture of the day of the event to the point about people being out a bunch of money. There was one woman who posted this long 3-part TikTok that it was just unplayable here because every part was 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Where she said that she planned her pregnancy and her uncle's funeral around the event. And I was like, girl,
that's on her.
I'm like, that.
A first-time festival?
I said,
how do you plan a pregnancy?
Or you can plan.
She was planning to get pregnant at the event.
Plan a pregnancy makes sense, but plan your uncle's funeral.
Yeah, I was like, when did he pass? Like, I don't understand what you mean.
She's plotting murder.
Yeah. She was like, I didn't kill my uncle until I knew the event was going to
That's very romantic-y, though. Like, my uncle will be murdered, and then I'll have a baby on the Baltimore conference room floor.
It is very like, I'm like, okay, you were maybe putting a little too much into this event that has no history of like existing.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the point is, people are making a lot of travel arrangements, etc. And it wasn't just the poor attendance that pissed them off. So like you said, when you get to these markets, you have to show up, you have to set up your table, When the book authors arrived to this, there was no signage, no schedule, no swag bags, no water. There was also no music being played or way to play music. And it got to the point where the security guard felt sorry for them. Because just imagine this security guard, Baltimore security guard standing there. All these delightful dorks in ball gowns are showing up. Nothing's there. Nothing's set up. This security guard got a shower speaker from his house and brought it to the event so that they could play music.
Puts it in a coffee mug. Hey, guys.
They renamed him DJ Steve.
Now that's making the best of a bad
and
situation.
Guess what? Guess who got laid? DJ Steve.
You know that DJ Steve got laid.
Got laid.
I really hope
there's
so.
no male
BJ
loneliness epidemic. There's only men who are not giving shower speakers.
Yeah.
At ball gown events.
Like, it's just ridiculous. So now we do have to get to who did this. Who did this? This event was organized by a woman named Grace Marceau, who writes under the name Grace Willows. So she's an author herself, which is
already.
Like betrayal. I feel like that's a bigger betrayal as an author.
It'd be your own people.
She did this all under the guise of a company called Archer Fantasy Events. But when I was reading I think I read a Guardian article and a People article about this, and one of them said that like there is no record of this being like a real company, but it does have social media pages. But it's not.
Wow.
I think Go Touch Grass LLC is a more legitimate organization.
And we do have a Go Touch Grass LLC.
We do.
And the lady laughed at Alise at the bank.
Yeah, when I went to pull out money from the bank, the lady said, "And may I ask how the LLC title came to be?"
Aww, that's adorable.
And she thought it was very funny. Anyway, so this woman, Grace, she started planning this event 18 months ago. Also, authors start putting down deposits 18 months ago.
A deposit 18 months in advance?
Yeah. She's promising the moon. Again, she's telling people we've sold 500 tickets, blah, blah, blah. She also starts she starts reaching out to authors who are like bigger names in the space and having them, basically she offers for them to be featured authors, which means that the Archer fantasy events would cover their hotels and you get $1,000. So
that's just smart. That's like nightlife move. You hire a host and they bring their friends and the event feels cool.
And it's 18 months. Like if she was saying this is going to happen 2 months from now, you're like, oh, immediate scam. But 18 months, yeah, it does take 18 months to make something.
It seems legit. It's coming from an author. And then also now, because she locks this part in pretty early. So now other authors are seeing, oh shit, that person who's really successful is attached to this event. So they start signing up based on like the names of these featured authors that she's gotten. So one of them is dark romance author Calista Neath.
She booked Calista?
She got Calista.
My God.
She got Calista.
Not Calista Gingrich, right?
So, no, spelled differently, thank God. But this person is like, she's big, well-known in the space. She was supposed to be a featured author. Then in the Guardian article that I read, about a week before the event, Marceau calls Neath and says, hey, so actually the Hilton isn't returning my calls. And apparently she sent an email like this out to all the featured authors saying, hey, so I know I told you that like you were going to be staying in the Hilton, but actually my rep at the Hilton is ghosting me. Crazy. And this is one of a million insane excuses that
hotels are desperate for your money. Why would anyone not return a call?
What hotel is not going to let you book a block for like 10 different people? It's ridiculous. So she goes, so actually I'm going to put you in the Days Inn across the street.
Not the Days Inn.
Wow.
So that's an immediate red flag, but these ladies are already coming. They show up. What? The Days Inn doesn't have a ramp. They can't get their books into their room. It's like clearly a sex hotel.
Jesus.
And also,
Days Inn in Baltimore is rough.
The Days Inn in Baltimore.
There's a million. I've
made a lot of good memories there.
I'm sure you did.
Balls.
The way you said it there feels a little homophobic. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Call me in. I feel like also there's like a bunch of hotels between a Days Inn and a Hilton.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of...
We shot for the moon. We went to the dirt.
Yeah. Truly. So then also to top it all off, this woman, Calista Neath, goes to the Days Inn. And when she checks in, they're like, hey, so the card that your event organizer put down was declined. So
Calista had to pay her own.
She ends up having to put down her own card, I believe.
Oh my God.
So... like,
where did the money go?
The thing is, it's very strange to me because apparently also a couple days before the event, that's when Grace starts being like, I owe the hotel 6 figures because not enough people booked. But it's like, but I thought that's how you said the hotel ghosted you. So that's confusing. It seems like they put all of their effort into getting authors to sign up to table, but there was no advertising, no marketing. There was nothing to actually bring attendees to the event. So on the day of the event, this is from The Guardian, and The Guardian was following this Calista Neath situation.
God bless him.
By then, that's the day of the event, Neath had her doubts.
By what?
The day of the event.
By then
is
the name of the event?
I'm reading a quote
Zach,
from The Guardian.
Please.
Oh, I wasn't doing a bit.
And I was
sorry.
saying by then, and they are referring to the then that they are referring to as the day of the event.
Oh, sorry.
That's
I thought you
okay.
said by then the name of the
Just
event.
Just
okay.
read it.
And I'm sorry we brought us here.
Okay.
If this stays in the episode, I'm sorry.
Then
for
being
everyone.
the day of the event, Neath had her doubts. but she'd already told her followers about the festival and left the hotel to get her table set up. As she and other authors arrived at the convention center, there was no signage to direct them to the event. Marceau wasn't there, and there weren't any staff event or volunteers. The original map of the booths was not up to Fyre code, a security guard informed them, so everything had to be rearranged that morning. There were no coverings for the booths or badges that are typical of any conference. So basically they got there, and the map that they had been provided of where they were supposed to set up was completely inaccurate, because actually the map that they had come up with was not up to Fyre code, so they had to rearrange everything, and no one knew where anything was supposed to go.
Oh my God.
Because the map that they got was no longer actually what the tables looked like.
But shouldn't romance readers know the map we think exists? The Isle of Shadows has secret corridors. They could have.
True, but the map at the front of the book has to be accurate so that you can.
True.
The map of the front of the book has to be
The map
accurate.
of the front of the book has to be the right information. So, on the note of the badges, so there were no like wristbands or badges, which is what you get at a
Everybody's checking
conference.
ID at the fest.
Well,
No,
DJ Steve's getting his shower.
DJ Steve is getting
Shower
getting
speaker.
his.
That was
But-
a little Blues Cluesy. I was trying to do a pow, 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 but it came out pow, pow, pow.
That's a really good blue for anyone who
I was blown
is
away.
familiar. I love.
Can
to
I hear a
do-
Coco Melon?
I don't know. I'm not familiar
okay.
with the Coco Melon.
We have to finish.
Sorry.
Okay, so according to Grace, the event organizer, she says that the reason they didn't have any wristbands was because the wristbands arrived shattered. I don't know.
How does paper shatter?
I don't understand that. Another one of her excuses was that she said that there were no swag bags. By the way, people contributed stuff to the swag bags. Like you could contribute like a bookmark or a sticker or something, and it would go in the swag bag. That's what maybe some of the like sponsored authors paid extra to do. There were no swag bags. And when people were like, hey, where's all the stuff we gave you for the swag bags? And also where are the swag bags? She said that the venue threw the swag bags away.
Lies.
So she tried to
Lies.
blame DJ Steve, who's the only person here with a shower speaker.
DJ Steve is the winner of this all and needs a Instagram, and we need to hire him.
So obviously, immediately, the people who attended this event start like talking shit about it online. By Saturday, also the content creation room turns out just another random conference room that has nothing in it. Completely empty conference room. It gets shut down on Saturday for, according to Grace, mechanical failure.
The content room or the whole
content
thing?
room.
Mechanical failure in the content room?
In the content room.
The devil guy's dick was broken is what happened. He got
Millie.
Yeah,
please.
No, literally
Millie.
like he
That's
was
disgusting.
He was like, I'm gonna run through everybody, and then after 2 people, he was like, I'm tired.
At a panel for LGBTQ plus diversity, the moderator left to take a phone call in the middle of the panel, never returned, and then attendees later realized that the moderator was just Grace Marceau's husband.
I'm like, why did he not just stay?
Why would he leave? He's the moderator.
At first, I was like, a gay taking a call during a panel. That's sort of queer rights. But if it's just the
It's just her
straight
husband. I don't know.
Maybe he's bi.
Yeah, he could be bi.
And
he could
bi
be
people can
bi.
take calls.
He could be pan.
I'm just like, okay, because at first I was like, okay, don't call.
Oh, sorry,
don't
I
answer
have to
your
take
phone.
this.
Yeah.
No.
What's
that? Yeah.
Wow,
Really?
Zach taking his bi call.
Oh my god.
Guys, you're gonna really want to subscribe to the YouTube for this one.
Because Zach's
This
doing
is
all
mostly
kinds of
visual
gags.
bits.
Yeah, no, we booked Zach to do a podcast, and he kind of brought a lot of visual elements.
Oh my god.
He's doing more visual bits.
I learned this is 666.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
thank
There's a
you,
6
Zach.
Thank
and
you.
a,
Zach.
I forget.
Okay, and again, subscribe to the YouTube so that you can see all of the
Please.
visual bits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get those
Visual bits.
That's worse than balls.
Yeah.
Come on, Alise.
Okay.
So
Visual
why?
bits.
Okay.
Saturday night, people arrive for the Lavender Romance Ball. It still looks like this.
No.
There is not one piece of decor. One person whose video I watched referenced that it seemed that she had bought at least one bag of fake flowers and kind of thrown them about the room. So I don't know what was going on there, but this is also from The Guardian. When people arrived for the ball, there was no decor, but there was A small cash bar and a plate of macaroons were the only signs of a party.
Well,
And
there was
that
at least
how many
alcohol.
macaroons? How many macaroons?
Cash bar, though, you had to pay.
I know.
DJ Steve's got rent to pay.
And a plate of
Gotta-
macaroons, a single plate.
But
and
how
the-
many?
I don't
30 or 5?
I don't know. For 100
100?
authors. But this was the night that DJ Steve showed up with the shower speaker. So, okay. DJ Steve. Anyway. Good. Now, I've actually been like really waiting for a moment to debut my Blue's Clues impression. That
You're
is
welcome.
really good.
Millie's so upset.
I am happy.
I
that
hope
not
it affects
this.
your nightmares tonight.
I'm not
I hope you
upset,
hear.
I'm just disappointed.
That's how me and my sister answer the phone to each other. That's actually true. We go, pow, pow, pow.
Aw, that's so cute.
Anyway, let's round out today's discourse by talking about what is being said now. So, in addition to all of the excuses that Marceau gave, so the wristbands shattered, the swag bags were stolen, she owed 6 figures to the hotel. She also said that the reason there wasn't a DJ was because the DJ dropped out last minute and she couldn't find a replacement. And I'm like, you can find a
It's
DJ.
Baltimore, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Baltimore, you can find a DJ.
In any city.
In
with,
any city.
With
Yeah.
more than 100 people, there's 99 possible DJs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I truly
If
believe.
you go through my exes, there's a bunch
Yeah,
of
in
DJs.
Millie's phone right now, we could have a DJ here in 10 minutes.
I'm
if
willing
Millie
to
activated
DJ.
her phone. In the end, DJ Steve became a DJ. Like finding a DJ truly anywhere, I
All
just
you need
don't
is
believe.
$50 to find a DJ.
Yeah. It really, really is. So again, none of the apologies or the excuses are adding up, but we do need to now see Grace and watch the apology that she posted to Instagram in the middle of the event. You can see clearly that the event.
She's
she
at
clearly,
the event apologizing.
Yeah, like she clearly stepped aside to make this video because apparently Neith, at the very least, the author that we've been talking to, went up to her and she was like, "You need to apologize to people."
I'm wanting to issue a formal apology. I do understand that the ball tonight was not set up to standards. There were a lot of issues with getting set up and it was not set up well. I want to apologize. If you would like a refund, please contact me and I will issue a refund immediately. Thank you.
So, like,
I wanted her to be British. I don't know why. I really wanted her to be British.
and Zach, you said she is young.
Yeah, I thought this was like a 65-year-old
No,
charlatan.
no,
like,
BookTok? No.
oh, it's skewing young.
But like you can hear in the background
The
that
ball
she's
is
clearly
happening.
in the conference center. Like literally, my guess is that it was such a shit show and so many people were complaining to her that in a panic, this woman just stepped off to the side and delivered. There's something like very panicked in her voice to me.
And it wasn't like, hey, I know I stepped short in the future, this and that. She's like, I'm sorry, you can contact me for a refund. It's like, girl, this is not good.
I think the age is, I'm wondering why I was fixated on her age. And I think part of me thought this was a grifter who'd done 100 different versions of this with different niche communities. This, I'm weirdly feeling more empathetic because I was like, is this the first event you've ever planned?
Yeah,
Have you
which
done a
I
baby
feel like
shower?
is very
Have you done a birthday?
ambitious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of why seeing and hearing her voice is very interesting to me because in these other events with Glasgow Willy Wonka, the guy who organized that was clearly a charlatan and had done many scams.
And Fyre Festival, Billy is like douchebag 101.
Yeah, and with Glasgow Willy Wonka and the Bridgerton Ball, there was some stuff set up.
Yeah.
This, it appears, had literally nothing
Nothing.
set up. So my confusion with her when she says, I know the event wasn't set up to standard. I'm like, but what was set up? Because
I would say Bridgerton
the
Ball had
attendees were
stuff.
set up.
yeah, Bridgerton Ball had stuff. It looked like shit, but there was stuff there.
That was a great line. I want to take that again.
Take it again. Take it again.
Wasn't it?
Take it again.
It wasn't
I didn't
great.
hear
I thought it was.
I didn't hear
I
it.
didn't
That's
hear
why.
Whoa. You said nothing was set up. The attendees were set up.
Whoa.
I'm not doing it again.
I hope I never.
This is
I
actually
hate
like
myself.
assimilating Caribbean culture by doing the air horn like that. You were decontextualizing
Millie
the
did
air
take
horn.
me. She's like, let's get dinner before this party that Alise and I also went to. And I was like, oh, I'll have a nice quiet dinner with Millie. We'll catch up, talk about everything. She takes me She takes me to a place where I guess they broadcast live nightclub music. It was so.
It was
I
a
couldn't
very
hear anything but music.
loud and large place.
It's where Dominican people go for their birth. I would say any Hispanic person in Brooklyn goes here for their birthday.
There were
and there were a lot of
sparklers
birthdays
everywhere.
happening.
And there was a lot of birthdays.
And we were dressing up.
But it was close to the venue.
It was.
Yes.
And it was
So-
good.
That's all
and
that
the food
matters.
was
And the
good.
food was good.
And the cocktails
Oh,
were
it was
good.
fire.
Okay. As far as this event, I don't think there was any food. There was also, again, no water.
I wore my giant Rockaware. I fit in perfectly.
Oh my God.
Oh, sorry. The no water makes me like, what?
No water is crazy.
That's on the venue, though. Shouldn't there be water
No.
fountains?
I think
What do you
you're
mean no
supposed to-
water?
Well, I think that the venue stepped in the best ways that it could once it realized that like nothing was there. Like apparently the one sign that was there, the venue printed out.
The Days Inn employee just like print 8.5 by 11 like.
Oh, we got to
fantasy
do something.
magic.
I think they truly felt bad for these women because again,
Yeah.
it's like all these probably like sweet romantasy book girls
Yeah.
in
You
can
gowns
say horny.
showing up horny.
I
You can
mean,
say
well, it's
horned
obvious.
up.
Yeah, there's a horned up energy, but a sweet energy.
Yeah,
And they're
sweet
showing
horny.
up and there's nothing there for them. And that's the thing that gets me about this is it's not just that like it was poorly organized or was shitty. There was nothing set up. So that's
Yeah.
where she kind of loses me. So I do want to show these next couple of slides are all of the apologies that she's posted to the event, the Archer Events Instagram page. So this one says, AML refunds. I wholeheartedly apologize for how the event turned out this weekend. We are currently processing refunds as fast as we can. All refunds will be processed by May 31st. We thank you. We thank and appreciate you for your patience.
Refunds do not take that long.
Yeah.
Why do you need a month to click refund?
Jesus Christ.
All right, next post. Archer management statement. We take full responsibility for the way that AML was handled. We are doing refunds for every attendee, author, and vendor.
Periods after each of those, not commas.
Yeah,
for everyone.
period after attendee, period after author, and vendor. We are also canceling all of our future events and we'll be processing refunds for those as well. And then next one
she's given up.
is just a list of all the people who I guess she like scammed into giving her money. Like she's trying to be like, you should actually, it says, please support these authors and vendors of AML. So she's trying to like.
Someone's name is Hell.
Someone's name is
Someone's
Hell.
just name is Hell with one L. Oh my God, imagine him introducing himself as part of
Maybe-
Hi, I'm
maybe-
Hell with one L.
I mean, maybe Hell is the guy that was dressed up as the Dark Angel. I could be. So, according to Marceau, she says that she's going to issue refunds, and she maintains that she sold 600 tickets, but all the authors who were there said they saw maybe a maximum of 80 to 100 people throughout the entire weekend, authors included.
Oh my God.
So she's clearly like frantically posting these. It's very funny to me to think she had other events planned after this. And I guess just where I want this to end is, what do we think she thought was going to happen? Like, what do we think happened here?
I feel like she had this really grand idea, which is very realistic. It happens where it's like you have this idea in your head, and then actually when you get to the brass tacks of executing it, there's so many details and it just can become overwhelming. And maybe she was like completely avoidant of what she had to do to get there. And she
Whereas
just
y'all
wasn't-
like did that work when if someone canceled or whatever, you made the goodie bags, you delivered on everything you promised, and she
Thank
maybe
you.
faced a challenge and was like,
it
everything's
was
fine.
a lot, but there was like, but even in this thing that was like, you know, we didn't plan it for 100 people. We
Right,
planned it
right.
for like 50 people.
Yeah.
And there was an incredible amount of things, the dietary restrictions, the venue, the this, the that. And I know we keep bringing it up, but it's just like, so I just can't imagine like, and this girl, I'm making a lot of assumptions, just somebody who doesn't know events, like
Yeah.
event planning and events. It's a career.
Mhm,
People don't
mhm.
think that. People are like, oh, I like to do this. I know a bunch of people. I can execute it. And it's like, you need signage. You need to like rent linens. You need to dietary restrictions. All that shit that
If you had a
like
peanut allergy at this, who
Exactly.
would have
I-
died?
It is a thing of, I think that people who haven't ever planned an event or worked in events. Like even just being comedians, we've hosted shows.
Yeah.
We've had to host for other people's events. Like you see kind of the logistics that go on behind it. I wonder if this gal was just someone who was an author who had attended a bunch of these events. She thought, I could do this. I don't understand what her company is, Archer Fantasy Events. If it's apparently it's not really like a registered company, so hard to say. It doesn't seem like she's planned events before. I agree that I think that maybe she just thought a lot of stuff was going to come together, and then when it didn't, instead of canceling, which is wild to me. That's the thing to me is that if I knew that we didn't have anything, I would just cancel the event and not have this. But instead, I think people who are avoidant like that also are delusional and are like, maybe it'll just all come together.
Yeah.
It's like, to plan an event like this, number one, you need to go over the floor plan and make sure it's up to fire safety codes, and then do all of that before you send the floor
somebody
plan.
to do this shit for you.
Yeah, like you have to have all of that. One of the things that someone was saying who went to the event was that they had sent out an email ahead of time being like, let's address some rumors, which I'm like, okay, that's not a good sign. And they were like, people are saying there won't be tables at the event or tablecloths. There will be both. So then they get there and there are tables, but there are no tablecloths.
The rumors were true.
Yeah.
No tablecloths.
There were no tablecloths, and people were waiting to see if there were going to be tablecloths, so no one could set up their table because you got to put the tablecloth on first, because that's what a fucking tablecloth is. So it's like these little things that you're not thinking of at all that come together to it being a shit show. But even more so than that, I'm like, it really doesn't seem like you locked in anything. No hotels, no decor. The content room doesn't have anything in it.
All
you don't have a
had
speaker.
was hell.
She wasn't even there.
Hell was there. Oh.
And I feel like I mean, now with tariffs, who knows, but like a $2,000 Temu order for this
would have done a lot.
Would have done a lot to at least show that she was trying. But then you need the logistics. And again, I just keep talking about our event because it took us how many, like we met like 4 or 5 times. Like we talked about it over and over and over again. And what's this? What's that? What's this?
How's this going to flow into this? Where does this stuff need to be set so that we can do the next part of the event? All of that. And with this, I mean, what's hilarious to me is this woman who organized it, when people showed up, she wasn't even there. I'm like, so who did you think was going to do this?
You have to be there.
If you don't have staff, you don't have volunteers, you are not there.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to do it? DJ Steve, I guess.
The only way to fix this, what's your gummy sponsor's name again?
Lumi Gummies.
Lumi. If you gave everybody a 50 milligram Lumi when they showed up at this and they had the best time,
that would be great.
Would have solved everything.
Well,
all right. So that's the end of our discourse for today. We must now add the Lavender Romance Ball in Baltimore to the storied history of viral failed events that we've covered here on the pod.
Wow. In our viral failed events Hall of Fame, I would say.
Yeah.
Because we have quite a few.
We do have quite a few. It keeps happening. I think also because people think of them as like get rich quick schemes where they're like, oh, people just want to show up and take pictures at shit. Like I'll just rent a room.
You gotta take pictures.
Especially today, post-pandemic, people don't want to go out. Events is like the hardest way to make money, I would say.
I feel like people get excited about it, but it has to be executed well.
Yeah, people do want to go to things and take pictures, but you have to create, if you're going to do like one of these Instagram events, the thing you really have to deliver is Instagrammable photos and shit.
One photographer with great lighting could have solved this.
But also like a bunch of shit from Temu to put in the background. Because that's what a content creation room is, literally like a room with stuff to take pictures in front of.
Yeah.
And if you're launching a brand, Archer Fantasy, you want that in every picture, Archer Fantasy.
This girl needed like a PR team. She needed to do it smaller. She needed a Temu order, and she needed to get real with herself.
Yeah.
She needed to get real.
She needed to get real.
And that's the grass. Is that your catchphrase?
That's the grass.
And that's the grass.
That's not what we say at all. Please stop talking. So thank you, Alise. We are going to this week's Grasshole of the Week. That is our segment of the week where we pick one person to that needs to go touch grass the most.
It's
that
not
needs
me,
to
is
log
it?
off. No, that's me. I don't
Is
know
it
how to.
Is it Millie and her watch?
Oh,
I don't know how to turn. I don't know how to turn it off. Like I feel like a boomer. And it was like Spotify telling me a band that I like is doing a concert. Like totally not important. We should go. This week's Grasshole. I'm trying to. Well, it's a little touchy subject, but it is one that has been talked about in the Black community all week. And part of me is like, as we go, I'm curious to see if you guys think it's like one person's the Grasshole or is everyone involved like the Grasshole. It's very interesting. But okay, the subject matter is about I think before we get into the Grasshole, it's very important to know that Go Touch Grass is unabashedly pro-Palestinian. We want to stop the genocide happening in Palestine.
I'll co-sign that.
I'll co-sign that.
Yeah.
As a guest.
So, okay, this Grasshole declaration is not so much. I feel like a lot of people see somebody whose message they don't agree with and want to pick apart all this stuff. I would say mostly agree with the message, but I'm concerned about it's not about the movement, but it's more about the messaging. To me, I feel like this is more a referendum on online activism. So we can take the thing out and just look at that. But this is all to say that our Grasshole this week is Palestinian Lebanese American artist Maya Ayooni.
Oh, I've heard of her.
You've heard of her.
She's a discourse inducer.
She's a discourse inducer. She has 2 million followers on TikTok, 119,000 followers on Instagram. And she's very beautiful, which I think factors into a lot of her shit. And she's also 22, which I think factors into a lot of her shit.
Yeah.
And she's
to be 22 and beautiful is
22 and beautiful, and
inviting
also
drama.
A student at UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
Very still
at 22.
At 20, well,
super
maybe
senior,
she's getting post-grad.
Super senior.
Yeah,
True.
post-grad.
So she sells she makes a lot of activist content. She sells a lot of merch with the cafe. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, I actually I know the word
design.
that you are.
It's
like the scarf. That's like, yeah.
So she makes
I don't know.
Keffiyeh,
Apologies to
Canceled.
everyone. Canceled.
Doesn't know the name of
the scarf.
I think I know
She
it.
sells a lot of like Palestinian flag, like merch, skateboard decks, and she sells shirts that say like, "I love my Egyptian girlfriend. I love my hot Arab girlfriend." Like that's kind of her thing. So,
and I'll get us a round of the shirts.
Oh please, yeah. I want to walk around with one and maybe
see what happens.
See what
you in the
happens.
Rockaware jacket. And I love my Egyptian girlfriend.
I mean, listen, it will hit. So Maya obviously has been a loud supporter of Palestine. And the thing, and her thing is also that she's hot. But she's also definitely one of the people who very, very loudly discourage people not to vote or to vote third party. So in a way that it appears like she was endlessly telling people to not vote. She had multiple nicknames for Kamala Harris. So let's just watch. So Kamala famously was announced that she was gonna, I feel like on my birthday, July 21st, when we were in LA.
Unite.
Cancers Unite. So let's watch a video from right after Kamala was announced on July 20. This video came out on July 25th.
If you are voting in the upcoming election and you're freaking the fuck out in my comments for criticizing Kamala Harris, I need you to lock in and listen to what I have to say. The government thrives off of you thinking that you cannot criticize them without having consequences. For example, you think that my critique of Kamala Harris is going to make Trump win the election. That is not true. But a reaction to this that you all are having is defending Kamala regardless of her stance on Israel, regardless of her support of AIPAC, regardless of her support of the Palestinian genocide. So instead of freaking out in the comments and saying, you're going to make Trump win for saying that, that's not true. You need to lock in and listen to me. If you are pro-Palestine and hell-bent on voting for Kamala Harris, you need to do your due diligence and pressure her into changing her policy on Israel before she gets elected. If you're gonna vote for her, I want to see you guys fighting for Palestine in her comments, at her press releases, everywhere she is, you must vouch for Palestine. A lot of people were saying, let's just put her in office and then we'll pressure her into being pro-Palestine. That doesn't make sense. You need to let her know now, we will not be voting for you unless you change your policy on Palestine. Like I've said, I personally would not vote for her as a Palestinian. It's my right. I would never vote for a war criminal. However, if you're hell-bent on voting for her, instead of bashing Palestinians for telling you that she is a war criminal and she caused a genocide in their country, you must do your due diligence and fight for Palestine. Because I made the same exact mistake you guys are making. I hated Trump so much. I accepted Biden during the last election, no questions asked. I loved Biden. I vouched for him so hard. I made so many videos, so many viral videos about how we have to vote for Biden, how we can't critique him, how we have to vote for Biden. And then look what happened under the Biden administration. The same number of people got deported. Biden sent hundreds of millions of dollars to Israel, and nothing changed. So instead of blindly following the lesser of two evils, use your voice to make one of them less evil. Now everybody take a deep breath. And stop telling Palestinians they can't not vote for the people who caused their genocide. Thanks.
I want to play a drinking game every time she said lock in. We take
Well,
a
that's
shot.
just Gen Z.
I also feel tricked. It's like, hey, come to the podcast that we're talking about romanticy.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we have a woman of color speaking on the
Palestine.
Palestine
I
and Israel
feel yeah.
and the Biden.
We do this a lot to our white male guests.
No, I
Sorry.
deserve it.
I
Yeah.
mean, the thing that's tough is that, yeah, like you kind of alluded to at the beginning, there are a lot of things she said that I don't disagree with. I just can never personally get to the place of, for me, seeing the value in abstaining from voting when there is a tangible difference between the two candidates, even if one of them is like with the lesser of two evils thing, I'm like, well, I would like the lesser of two evils. I actually would think it is better for the less evil person to be the president. And I actually, I wasn't particularly enamored with Joe Biden. I think he did a lot of things wrong in his presidency too. I'm glad that Donald Trump wasn't president for those 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. It's tough because on the one hand, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to tell a Palestinian person how they have to vote or what they have to do. And I do think she's right to say, like, you should try to pressure your candidate while they're running to do things that you agree with. And also, I'm like, it was good that Joe Biden won the election, and it would have been really good if Kamala had won this one as well.
Yeah, like, I guess that's kind of the thing is, like, it's not 100% wrong, but I feel like, you know, and again, the whole thing is that she does have 2 million people following her.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not just this inconsequential thing of like, you know, you're very, very simplifying this thing of like, well, if you want to vote, like, don't vote unless she's doing exactly everything that you say. So it's a tough thing, you know, but this is just the beginning. I don't know if you have anything, or you're just like, I want to
No, the 2 million is interesting because sometimes some discourse should happen like quietly in small groups. But,
Yeah.
And the problem with the internet right now is you don't know which viewpoint is going to suddenly go viral.
Yeah.
Like, yes, this very nuanced take between like members of a small community probably makes sense, but then suddenly everyone's listening to it. I think about this with like queer stuff. Like sometimes we're having nuanced discussions, but then they get picked up by the right, and suddenly you're getting stuff fed back to you. Like, yes, I wish the election had gone in the other direction. She says she'll never vote for a war criminal, so it sounds like she's never voting for any presidential candidate.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't vote. Yeah, that's.
But at the
just
same
every
time,
person.
like, yes, like it's your right to abstain or to not participate in this. But yeah, wouldn't less evil? You're letting perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yeah, that's
is
where I get
a thing. But also, yeah, it is your right as an American to vote how you want.
Yeah, so basically, like, that was just like a taste of like the kind of content she was making as soon as Kamala was announced. She was pretty like relentless on making anti-Kamala content. She even got into a multi-day long spat with Black creator Tori Greer, who had around 20,000 followers at the time. So, and other Black creators who were like, you are really, there's a tinge of anti-Blackness there. You're talking to us like we don't understand what's going on. And also it seems like you have this really intense energy for Kamala and not anything for Trump.
I always feel that. I feel like I just am always seeing that, and that it does drive me a little crazy when someone has like so much hate for the Democrats, and I have a lot of problems with the Democrats.
We talk about our problems with the Democrats all the time. And again, exactly, like that's not the thing, but it's like when you have all this energy, and that's basically the crux of her grassholiness. So we all know how the election turned out. And of course, people were very...
Wait, I haven't watched it yet. What happened?
Spoiler alert, the election came out bad. So, you know, obviously there's a lot of contributing factors to the election not going well. But a big thing, people were very angry at anyone who discouraged people to vote, who told people do not vote, repeatedly, you know? So Maya, again, so after, you know, Trump won, people are going to Maya's page and being like, hey, like, this is what you caused. Like, what's your plan now? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
She sells new t-shirts.
She's still selling the t-shirts. Maya has posted so after Trump won, Maya posted several videos with math equations saying that even if every Arab who voted third party voted for Kamala, she still wouldn't have won. So like, why are you mad at her? You guys are stupid. Then she posted this post-election on her Instagram. Next slide. With this, she posted this photo, which is like a picture of her wearing the Palestinian scarf and the Palestinian flag in front of like a graffitied, you know, Stop Cop City, you know, thing. And then she posted this caption. Today, following Kamala's loss, there have been many videos from Kamala's supporters entirely blaming me for her loss and even going as far as threatening that they would attack me physically if they saw me in public. Liberals are showing aggression and fascism identical to that of Trump supporters after his 2020 loss. And she's talking about January 6th.
I don't know if that... I think that there's a really big difference, but okay.
There was a strong sentiment from liberals this year that they must, quote, focus on themselves and their rights, which is why they voted for Harris. Yet when I, a Palestinian, criticize their policies that are killing my people, I'm an evil person who wanted Trump to win. Let me make it clear that I did not want Trump to win, but I also refuse to accept, quote, better of two evils, because to me, a Palestinian, they're both unforgivably evil, which is what I stated in my videos criticizing both Trump and Harris. Liberals commenting, Palestine is going to get destroyed now. Hope you're happy, are as sick as Trump supporters and will never have my solidarity. But to imply that I, a Palestinian whose videos on Kamala reached 600,000 views max, all caps, had more influence than Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and other celebrities that endorsed her is completely untrue. Not one person can completely influence an election. It's not possible. I did what you would all do if your people were being burned alive. So make your think pieces about me and pretend this is my fault, but really think about what we've been telling you since the beginning of her campaign. She knew what she needed to do to win and couldn't do it. Kamala Harris ran a bad campaign. America is deeply fucking racist and sexist and fascist and overwhelmingly voted for a felon, which is disgusting but unsurprising. Even with the third party voters, the Arab voters, and those who did not vote for her because of the genocide, she still wouldn't have won. And that's a hard pill to swallow, but a pill that needs to be swallowed, because threatening a 22-year-old Palestinian girl's life will not make the next 4 years easier. It will only make what you swore you would never be. And okay. So then she disappears. Yeah, she disappears completely for 2 weeks and posts this when people are like, why aren't you saying anything now? And she posts this video that says, when I take a 2-week social media break for my mental health and people make insane conspiracy theories about me stealing money and disappearing with it.
Oh, so did people think she was like stealing the t-shirt money?
Well, yeah, people are like, you had all this fucking energy and then as soon as Trump won, you're not posting anything. I think like, maybe I'll just run through everything and then we'll talk in the end because we're running out of time. So her posting about Palestine seemingly slowed down, like she wasn't posting as much. So she posted that thing basically like, it's not my fault that Kamala didn't win. Then she disappears for 2 weeks. Then she posts like, when I take a 2-week social media break for my mental health, and people make insane conspiracy theories. Then completely on TikTok, she just like stops posting. Then last week, she appeared on a dating show.
Oh, no, not on a dating show. That is
She's
not where I
back
thought
and
this was
looking for
going.
love.
She appeared on a dating show, and people were really fucking pissed because they were like, you told everyone to teach Kamala a lesson. Now as Trump is president, you have no energy for him. You're not posting at it. And on top of that, you're appearing on a dating show and being annoying. Or like you're being on this dating show and being like whatever. And you know, she's getting a bunch of backlash for her being like, where's your energy? You're just posting on a dating show really after like months of whatever. And then she kind of made a video like clapping back being like, yeah guys, I'm an actress, like of course I'm gonna be booking a job, like I got paid for this, I'm not like, it's not real. And also like you guys are calling me annoying. Like she basically was like, all the backlash is because you guys think I'm annoying, and not really addressing the backlash of like, you are seen as a grifter to many people, you know?
That you were on this high horse and saying, oh, like, why don't you have this energy for Palestinian people or whatever? And then for her to, as soon as the election is done, disappear and also not to seem to have
Right, because the
energy.
genocide hasn't stopped.
No, and
It's
Donald Trump
actually
has
probably
done,
gotten worse and is going to get worse.
Donald Trump has done and said horrible things with regard to Palestine since getting elected. So I'm just, by the standard of having the same energy for everybody, she should also still be posting.
Well, so then she gets a lot of criticism. A lot of Black creators start being like, yo, where's your energy? You're not keeping this up. You said all these things about like, you know, like Black women in general with running for president, but also Black women who had something to say. And then she basically posted this next TikTok. I mean, she posted, okay, well, we don't have time, so we'll go ahead. She posted this like carousel of her birthday party, and with this thing basically saying, a lot of people ask me why I don't post about Palestine on TikTok anymore, and I thought I would answer here on Instagram instead. After everything that happened, I continued to post about Palestine on TikTok regularly, but the comments were filled with people saying that the blood of the genocide was on my hands. Majority of the comments were from Democrats, unfortunately. 1, that's not true. 2, I don't need to see stuff like that. 3, the people of Gaza don't need to see stuff like that. It's discouraging for me to make a video about this. And then later she's like, TikTok is no longer a constructive place to post content about the genocide, which is why for the last few months, I've been posting my Palestine content solely on Instagram, which I will continue to do moving forward. As a Palestinian person, this entire genocide has been earth-shattering. Seeing comments saying I contributed to the genocide is extremely difficult for me. I give my all to the cause, and this is a boundary I have to make in order to continue my fight. I know anyone making comments like this is completely delusional and sick, but it still hurts. Thank you for reading. Also mentioning again, for the record, I've made no money from the genocide. LOL. Also, these pictures are from my birthday party. So it just goes to, then she starts posting that. So then she posts this, she's doing a hunger strike, and she's posted about her hunger strike. She's doing a hunger strike against UCLA for them to divest from Israel.
Okay.
And she's been live posting about her hunger strike like multiple times a day since this. So on her TikTok live. On her TikTok.
Oh, wow.
And she went on TikTok live to like, so
my
it's
TikTok
like,
live is just people being like fake drinking licking ice cream. Be like, don't send the galaxy. Don't send a galaxy.
Whenever I accidentally look at TikTok live, it's always the most like fucking weird shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But
she's not on TikTok live. She's posting multiple videos on TikTok about her hunger strike now.
So she's back to posting about Palestine on TikTok.
Yes. And I was going to link to a trans creator called Dominique Morgan, but we're running out of time. But basically the trans creator, which I, trans Black woman, I do fucking love her content, but basically she's like, if you don't want the throne of being influenced, you have to abdicate it and you have to renounce your thing. And it's like, you put yourself up on this pedestal to, this is what the video is like 6 minutes long. It's so great. But it's like, you put yourself on, you elevated yourself. Maybe you're not making money from the merch, but you are in the creators program, you are whatever. And now you're not doing that anymore. And you are mad at us for calling that out, you know? So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is just, again, I don't disagree with some key parts of her message. I do think that Kamala fucked up a lot of stuff with her campaign, particularly around Gaza and activism there. But it is that point of like, if you're going to come out here and you're going to say, you know, all of this stuff about people who are voting or not voting, or this president or this person's a war criminal, you have to keep it up when the other war criminal wins too. And I do just feel like, and we saw this the first time Trump won, and we've seen it again, people from the left they think he's not going to win. So they post in a way from this like standard of kind of this moral superior place of like, well, I'm not going to vote for anyone because no one's up to my standards. And then it's like, you weren't thinking about the truth of what would happen if the other person actually won. I think she probably didn't think he could win.
Yeah. And
it's like, girl, he's won before.
He's won before. And it's also like, yeah, you put yourself in this position. Now you're like, so what is it? Are you like a revolutionary who's calling for all this stuff? Or are you just a 22-year-old girl who has no influence? You know, it's like she's trying to have it both ways. I also really, and this is like kind of my takeaway, is like, you cannot build progressive political power in the United States without Black women. And making a bunch of enemies on TikTok of Black women and saying they don't know this and that. Like, babe, first of all, and I'm just going to say this, the people who are running elections in this country, like I'm saying, like, actually executing board of elections, at least in New York, at least everywhere I voted, are Black women, all Black ladies. And you better be very careful anyone who tells you don't vote at all. Watch out for that. That's all I'm going to say.
And should we issue to Miss Maya Ayooni?
Well, let's give Zach a quick thing and then we'll wrap.
Quick thing. Yeah. If you're going to be an active, the question is like, what's your contract with your audience? And if you're going to be an activist, are you a full-time activist or just this influencer activist who's just speaking out and then also an actress? I don't know. There are actually people building communities and doing actual on-the-ground activism. And then for someone to just sort of do it at a surface level, but also at the same time sharing her particular story, it feels like the actual Grasshole in the situation is sort of the internet and social media, that it doesn't allow you to have a small group, because a lot of the anti-Kamala talking points are valid, but you kind of want them to just have happened within the Democratic Party. Hey, let's keep it in the family. Yeah, we think she's awful, but to the public, let's all say, hey, we're supporting you, and here's our problem.
That's kind of what Republicans do in many ways. The one last thing I will also say is that while I get that it's like a unique situation because she's a Palestinian person, her being like, it's hurtful for you to say I have blood on my hands. It's like, isn't that kind of what you were saying to anyone who voted for Kamala?
Yeah.
When you're saying like, well, I couldn't possibly vote for her because she's a war criminal and the blood of Palestinians are on her hands. If you want to do it, I guess you can. It's like, yeah, no, that is a hurtful thing to say to people who are trying to make difficult political choices.
And her saying that's equal to the fascism of 2020.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And like the January 6th thing. And I just think really quick, just like right now, like last week, this 19-year-old undocumented girl ran a red light or was speeding. She got deported. Her whole family got deported. And I'm like, that's the difference between a Trump and a Kamala presidency, is that would not have happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the same. And for the crime of, I don't even know what's a succinct crime, Alise? I was like,
for the crime of only being an internet activist when you feel like it's safe and good for you? I don't know.
Yeah. I would say Maya Ayooni, go touch grass. Zach.
You were an amazing guest.
You were an amazing guest.
Oh,
Tell
thank
us
you
where
so
to
much for
find you.
having
Tell
me.
us about
Hope
your
I didn't
special.
interrupt too much. I love you both.
No, you
You're
were incredible.
So talented. Everyone should
You were
subscribe
incredible.
to the Patreon.
Thank you.
If everyone wants to have a good laugh of an hour on a Friday night, put on Surprise Me. It's on YouTube.
Yes.
My
Beautiful.
first hour-long special. And I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and Blue Sky at ZZ. It's at ZZ, the word double, and then ZZ.
Yes, and you can find us at Go Touch Grass Pod on everywhere you find social media.
So yeah, on all the sites.
On all
I'm
the sites, you
looking for
can
new
follow
social
me,
media.
Millie_Tamarez on TikTok and Instagram, and Millie Tamarez on Twitter.
And you can find me at Alise Navidad on TikTok, at Pandalise on Instagram. And until next time,
Go
touch grass.
That was a HeadGum podcast.